Hello, Captains. Welcome back to the channel. This is USS Endeavour, and welcome aboard the Tier 6 Tech Tree British Light Cruiser, Fiji. Now, I know what you're thinking. What is this part 1 of the Fiji all about? And I'm glad you asked. We're actually going to feature 2 different gameplays with the Fiji because I feel at this tier, it's the first opportunity where you can change and alter the maneuverability of the ship and can make it more agile, or you can play it with a more traditional build where it's gun focused. So I wanted to showcase both in 2 different videos. So this video will focus primarily on the regular build with Bruce Fraiser, who I have listed right here. It's a very familiar build in which you have seen with my last videos with the lower tiers. It's the exact same setup. I think it works the best. It's also free, and I wanted to showcase what a free example could look like. So moving on to the actual module slots, since we now have 3, because at tier 6 you get a third, everything is the same as the Leander, with the exception with the third slot being the concealment mod, which reduces your concealment by 10% and adds incoming fire dispersion, meaning the opponent's shells. It makes their dispersion worse by 5%. So that's what we have for the build. The sonar and smoke combination is still a thing, and you still only get 2 of each. The sonar detection of ships has gone up to 4.2. as opposed to 4 from the Leander, and the smokes last a little bit longer. However, getting them back takes quite a while, so make sure when you smoke up, you're ready to use it. Moving on to the survivability, we are now over 30,000 with 31,400. No torpedo reduction. Torpedoes still hit hard and hurt, and you take max damage from them, so don't get hit. Moving on to the artillery, still AP only, and it is at a 14.8 kilometer range with a 7.1 second reload, but you get 12 guns. 4 turrets, 3 guns per turret. 6 in the front, 6 in the back. The 180 degree turn time for the turrets is just under 26 seconds, which is a little slow. It can get better with a different build, but for now, this is what we have to deal with. And with those extra guns comes apparently less torpedoes at your disposal. They feel that the balance needs to be less torpedoes and more guns at this tier, especially for this boat. It works well, but your torpedoes are a lot less effective, and don't rely 100% on them, as you only have 6 now total, 3 on either side. With the Bruce Fraiser build, we have a maximum speed of 34.4 knots, a good tight turning circle radius, and a rudder shift time of essentially 7 seconds. So you are not agile. You can turn when the rudder is fully shifted to one side or the other, and your max speed is not bad, but it can get better, which we will showcase later. And the concealment is at 9.9 kilometers with firing guns and smoke at 5.4. With more guns, your detectability while inside the smoke does slightly get worse. And the detectability range by sea, because of the mod that we installed, does bring it down to sub 10 kilometers. So now we are going to take a look at the armor and see exactly what we're working with here. The armor is a little bit of an upgrade. However, as your armor gets more thick, it also allows the higher caliber shells more time and opportunity to arm inside your ship. And the only 13 millimeter you have is on the bow and stern, which stops right at the front turret, and on the stern right at the back turret. Everything else in the middle is that light aqua green color. That's going to allow you to angle a little bit better against lower caliber shells, and it also helps against HE a little bit, but overall it's not going to help that much. Your Citadel on the other hand, does extend all the way from front turret to back turret. If you remember in the Leander video, if you saw, the Citadel was almost half the size of what the Fiji has. It only extended basically from the bridge to where the flags are, and this extends much farther. So your Citadel is a lot easier to hit. So we're on the map north, and we spawn at Bravo Cap. And the one thing I like to do before every match is look at the layout of each team. And unfortunately, we are bottom tier. So we have tier 6s and tier 7s. And one thing I also want to be cognizant of, especially at this tier, are cruisers or other ships that are equipped with radar. Being a cruiser that relies heavily on smoke and being concealed and hiding, you want to make sure that you are not in the radar range of those ships that are equipped with it. The Ochakov is one of them, and the other ship that we have in this match that we need to be careful of is the Cleveland. Fortunately for us, not knowing this at the start, but the Ochakov, which we did know, is on the far right side at Alpha Cap, and the Cleveland is at Charlie. The ship that we know of right now is the Monarch, and our Yukikaze, who spawned with us, that looked like they were heading into Bravo Cap, which I was coming to support, ends up turning around and leaving for whatever reason. So I'm not really able to push like I wanted to. The Cap now starts to get captured, which I know is a destroyer. And then looking back, I know that the Bismarck that is off my back left is basically getting focused. And here comes some torpedoes from that destroyer. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, so there's the Surrey. So I know now that the Cleveland's not over here, and neither is the Ochakov. I move up slightly, and there I get spotted. So there he is. He pops up. He immediately smokes up. I get a shot as quickly as I can. The dispersion is terrible, but I hit him with one shell, and I reset the cap slightly. I try to take another blind fire shot, but I am unsuccessful. So now that he is smoked up, and the Surrey that was with him and the Monarch decided to leave, it's just the Monarch and the destroyer. And because he's smoked up, he has now essentially blinded himself from me. And he's also blinded the Monarch that is behind him that had an opportunity to shoot me, which is what I ultimately was afraid of. I knew torpedoes were coming in, so although I don't have my hydro popped yet, I am aware that he is in his smoke. And the Monarch can't see me, which is why I'm making this play. I'm pushing in, hoping I don't get spotted. And right here, I am in the cap. It is contested, so I know he hasn't left it. And I hit my hydro. There he is. And this shot almost wipes him out. And unfortunately, he survives. I take another hit and only get one shell. I take one more shot before he disappears, but unfortunately, he is going to get away. The Monarch had HE loaded, which I was thankful for. I'm still within the smoke fire penalty range of the destroyer, which is why I'm still lit in my smoke, but now he has left that. So now I am free to shoot. The blind fire from the Monarch was a wonderful hit. That was a great shot. He was waiting for me to shoot, which is a great tactic to use. So kudos to the Monarch for hitting me. It did reset the cap, but now I am no longer spotted. More torpedoes coming in, which is why I have my hydro running, mainly to detect the destroyer to shoot at him and wipe him off the board, which I almost did, but I also need to know when these are coming in. Able to dodge these because I have well than enough notice. So going back into my smoke, I'm going to stay in here until I take this cap. And if you notice, we have both Alpha and Charlie already. So our team has done a really good job of taking these caps. The Ochakov, which is on the far right, also is gone. So that's one less radar that we have to worry about. And the destroyer, which I'm assuming was on Charlie, also got taken out. The only remaining destroyer is the one that I hit really hard, and he is down to virtually nothing. The Yukikaze is now deciding to come into the cap with me, which I don't really understand this play because I've already taken the cap. I could use his spotting, but alas, him showing up at this point is kind of pointless now that I have the cap. I did his job for him, I guess, and his services are no longer needed. So I did my job here. I was able to take the cap single-handedly. The Bismarck left me, the Yukikaze left me, and I had to rely on just taking advantage of the smoke in order to get the destroyer off the cap and render the help of the Monarch a lot less effective. There the Akatsuki pops back up. I am unable to shoot at him, and the Yukikaze, who still hasn't shot yet, is going to get a free kill. There he goes. And now we have had all 3 caps. We have an overwhelming points lead. This Leon, this poor Leon, is the only enemy ship on this side, and he is not long for this world. We have all 3 of our destroyers, and they have lost all 3 of theirs. And when that happens, it's a virtual win, unless something really dumb happens. But I would have to say the Fiji, pound for pound and tier for tier, is probably the best free ship in the game. And I don't believe that's a hot take. I believe there's a lot of people that would agree with me. It's a fun ship. It's very powerful. Its guns are very effective, especially against lightly armored targets. It is just a nuisance and a pest, and when played correctly, can carry a team really, really well. It does rely on teammates to help spot. When it gets in trouble, it has a get out of jail free card and smokes. Its hydro is effective and its duration is good. Its torpedoes are a little lackluster, but what you lose in the torpedo performance, you make up for it with the guns. It has a really good reload and a lot of shells. And although you don't have HE on this ship, you really don't miss it. I don't, at least. And that's just my opinion. But I know a lot of people share that. So this is going to be a win. And at this point, we're just farming damage and we're padding our stats. So this is kind of a look at a gun-focused build with Fraiser and how it plays out. You're going to have better gun performance, which is a strong suit of this ship, and you see a lot of players who use that. The next video that I'm going to be coming out with is a game where I am basically speccing completely into being agile, and I'll talk more about that and show you the stats and what the differences are between this build with Fraiser and the build with Tenant, which is the agile cruiser commander. Another interesting thing that I'm going to be doing for the next video for the agile Fiji is I'm going to be showcasing the stats for the ship before I post it, because that will be coming out on Monday, which I'm super excited for. It'll be a really cool feature that you can look at. So I'll be including that and trying that out because it's going to be brand new. So that's a look at the Fiji, a really powerful boat. And if you doubted how good it is, check out the leaderboard. In a tier 6, tier 7 match, the Fiji came on top, and then it came on top again. So although I didn't take top spot, I just thought it was emblematic of just how powerful this ship is, that even in a tier 6 and tier 7 match, the Fiji again take the top spots. So thanks, Captains, so very much for watching. I really appreciate you tuning in. Looking forward to dropping the Fiji again in the part 2 video. Until that time, give me a like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Comment below, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Fair winds and fair seas, captains. This is USS Endeavor, signing off.